morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the latest edition of Choppin It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Well, listen, today is Friday. For many of you guys, I know your weekend start, your holiday weekend start, and you're going to kick off the weekend. So listen, I want to say, have a safe, blessed weekend. Enjoy the holidays. It's a time for family. It's a time for love. And I hope everyone has a safe and blissful holiday weekend. As for myself, along with doing some of the similar things that you guys will be doing, but I'm also going to be hosting Chopping It Up with Ramel throughout the weekend. So I may have some pop-up shows too, because there's so many sporting events that's going on this weekend. I may not be able to keep silent. But before I get into it, man, I want to give a happy shout out, a happy birthday to a young lady that means a lot to me, man. This is my younger cousin. She's a first cousin. Often look upon her as a little sister. And right now, I just let her know I'm proud of her. She's on a path that is great right now, and I just want to give a happy birthday to my cousin Chandra. Many, many more. We all love you, and continue to be blessed. Stay strong, and we'll see one another soon. All right, happy birthday, Chandra. Love you. All right, let's get right down to it, man. Last night in the NFL, I'm going to give a shout out to Greg, the guru, who calls up. You guys know who he is, man. He calls up quite a bit, man. And he went on record and said that the Falcons would lose, the Giants would lose, and he said someone else would lose. I think it was Miami. But anyway, what he selected was all the inferior teams. Like, spoiler alert. Listen, I got a news flash for you. If I'm a team that's going into the playoffs or looking to get into the playoff or jockeying playoff position, I do not want to play someone in my division that is not going to the playoff, man. I just don't want to play them, man. I'd rather play a team that's ahead of me at this point in the game than to play a team that by record is an inferior team. Because I think last night might be the theme of the weekend. And I think Greg, the guru, is on to something. And I tell you what, man, I watched the game last night. It wasn't that the Eagles played relatively great. It's just that the Eagles was aggressive on defense. The Eagles was at home. They had the crowd. The Giants was on the road. And I think that aggressiveness on defense might have rattled Eli a little bit. Listen, I watched the game. Beckham, he was 11 catches, 152 yards. Pretty good numbers. Nothing to sneeze at, nothing to laugh at. But the one thing I got to give credit to the Philly defense, they gave him everything underneath. They did not let him get that one play that Beckham is known for, whether it was a catch and run or just a deep route. They were on top of him. And I mean, he had one play that when he caught the ball, he scrambled a little bit, but he didn't scramble to get upfield. He scrambled, but he didn't make it upfield. He just made it across the field. This defense was on top of these receivers. Man, it had me sitting there like, well, where was this the last 10 games? But an offensive lineman who missed 10 games was back. A lot of things that contribute to that. But anyway, the Eagles look really strong. Carson Wentz, let me tell you something about him, man. This guy's a competitor. He went out, looked like he may not be able to make it back in, looked like he was hit pretty hard, concussion type thing. But he came back, scrambled for a first down. This guy here, I'll tell you what. The Eagles started out 3-0, got into the break, to the bye week, and it seemed like it went downhill from there. But I tell you what, man. Excuse me for that. I tell you what. I think Carson Wentz is going to be a player in this league. I see it. I don't know if he's going to be a great player or one of those we'll be talking about 10 years from now, being a top 10 quarterback. But I tell you what, he's going to be a gamer, a competitor, and someone you're going to have to respect. I believe the key for Philly, and I've said this all season long, going into the offseason, it has to be thinking wide receivers. Wide receivers, linemen, running back. Wide receivers. If we can get our hands on some wide receivers, this Eagles team will be a threat next year. As far as the Giants go, they ran the ball pretty effectively. Eli went 38 for 63 in the passing game. Typical Eli, where you don't know which one's going to show up. The gunslinger throws a couple of picks. The one at the end, hey, that's the end of the game. But he threw two crucial picks early on. One was a pick six, and the other one was just a momentum killer. This time of the year, when you're fighting for a position in the playoff or getting into the playoff, last thing you need to do is throw turnovers, have turnovers. And in this case, it cost the Eagles. The Eagles scored 17 points in offense, 7 points on defense. But it was just a good performance. And again, if you look at the numbers that the Giants had as far as the yardage, on the rushing yardage and the passing yard, you say, well, what kind of defense did the Eagles play? Eagles played some good defense last night. They really did. They played some good, solid defense. And again, the one thing they did not let happen, and if you want to beat the Giants, this is what you got to do, because you got to contain Beckham. They did not let Beckham have the big play. And that's key. They did not let Beckham have the big play. So kudos to the Eagles for playing for pride, playing for spoilers, playing for their fans, playing for themselves. Who knows? Maybe guys have incentives in their contract. Maybe guys are looking for contract. Good win, not giving up. If I'm Atlanta, I'm nervous. You're going on the road to face Carolina. Remember, a year ago this time, they were coming into Atlanta, and they had a win. Their winless, their consecutive win streak was snapped. They may be looking to repay the favor. Remember, they knocked off Washington a couple of nights ago. They will be looking to do the same to you guys on Saturday afternoon. So, same thing with Miami. Miami's been hot, 6 of the last 7. They're going into Buffalo. I gave the scenario yesterday. The Jets needed one win to get in the playoffs. They go and face their old nemesis and Rex Ryan. They go face the Buffalo Bills. Rex Ryan has his guys ready to play, knock off the Jets. Jets don't make the playoff. Could be a similar scenario this weekend with Miami going into Buffalo. So could be one of those upset weekends. Could be an upset weekend in Week 16. This is why we have to play the games. This is why we have to play the games. So, good game last night, good win for the Eagles. And remember, NFL fans, due to Christmas on Sunday, the majority of the games are going to be on tomorrow, Saturday. So get ready. I mean, this is going to be a fun-filled weekend if you're a sports fan. I'm going to work part of the day on Saturday, but part of the day I'm rushing to get home. If you're a sports fan like myself, there's going to be a lot. Listen, I have the NFL package on DirecTV, and I also got League Pass. Listen, I love sports. I'm gonna be in front of the tube as much as possible, and it should be an exciting weekend. And then again, it finishes off Monday night. It finishes off with Detroit into Dallas. Can't ask for any more than that. Detroit will know where they stand if Green Bay should win. Against Minnesota. Because then they'll get closer to that division. So it's going to be a must-win game for Detroit. Dallas, they're probably going to want to win this game. They clinched the number 1 seed with the loss of the Giants last night. But they probably don't play too many players next weekend. So they're probably going to want to get this win before they start thinking about maybe possibly resting a few players in that final weekend. And by the way, I got the Eagles beating the Dallas Cowboys in that weekend just because Dallas is probably not going to look to get any major players hurt, so they probably won't play that much. They probably just get enough time to sweat, and so it might be an easy victory for the Eagles in that game. But NFL is going to be bananas this weekend. Should be a fun weekend in the NFL. Moving right along to the association, the NBA, that is. Man, there was only 5 games. There was 5 games on last night, and a couple of them was typical results. You had Golden State going into Brooklyn, and easy work there for them. They knocked off Brooklyn 117-101. You had Indiana played Boston yesterday. I didn't get a chance to see the game, but reading the box scores, looks like there was a duel between the point guards between Isaiah Thomas and Jeff Teague. And, Jeff Teague had 31 points, 8 assists. Isaiah Thomas had 28 points and 9 assists. But where it mattered most, Boston had 109 and Indiana had 102. Boston was led by Isaiah Thomas in a balanced attack. I'm going to tell you, you hear me talk about this Indiana team, and if there is a Jekyll and Hyde in the league, it's got to be Indiana. I'm not sure. It's hard for me to put my finger on this, but something is missing in Indiana. This is a team that a lot of pundits just knew for sure they were going to be a threat in the East, and they can beat anybody on any given night, but something is missing from there. I just can't seem to put my finger on it. I just can't. Paul George is a very respectable player in this league. In fact, I respect him, and I think he's an all-star player. But he's not that next-level player. And I believe every year, with health on his side, I think the pundits are expecting this guy to be in that elite category. And I watch him. He can't do it for a full season. And this is a team that needs their leader to lead them. And he's just not that player. No knock on him. He's a very good player. Maybe he needs to be with a Batman and he'd be a superb Robin. But I don't know if he can be a Batman consistently enough for this Indiana team. They have a lot of talent over there. I'm not a big fan of Thaddeus Young, as many people are. I recognize that he can play. I'm not a big fan of him at the power forward spot. I like him as a six-man, getting minutes between the front court, whether it's in a small game where he's lining up as a center, or he's playing power forward, or he's just overmatched, too much size for somebody at the small forward. I don't like him as a starter. Miles Turner, who we're going to hear from in the future, he's an undersized center, but he's athletic. He's going to be okay. Maybe it's too early to insert him there. I'm not sure. Maybe Al Jefferson probably needs to be there. Jeff Teague, who's played like an all-star these last couple of seasons, I'm not the greatest fan of Jeff Teague. I respect his game. But there's something that's not right there. And Nate McMillan's been away from the game as far as a head coach. He's been on the bench as assistant coach. The game has changed since the last time he had coaching duties. Could he not be the right fit for this team? I'm not sure. But this subpar 500 team of Indiana should be a little bit better than this. And I'm not sure. Something is missing from Indiana. The Clippers at home, they beat the Spurs. They used the balanced attack to do so. So, like I said, it was just a few games on last night. But now we get to the Garden. What a performance by the Knicks last night. Let me tell you, I know it's Orlando. Orlando came in there hot. It's a young team. It's a nice little segue from Indiana to this game because Indiana former head coach and Frank Vogel is now the coach of Orlando Magic. And I see the Orlando Magic. They have a weird blend of talent there. They got, to me, one of the best backup point guards in the game, starting in DJ Augustine. I'm surprised Alfred Payton is not starting, but you got DJ Augustine starting. Then the big guy, Malachunas, I can't pronounce it, Vulicek, he had some big games last year. He's coming off the bench in favor of Bismarck, Biyombo, and Ibaka. Then you got Aaron Gordon, who's playing small forward. That, to me, right now, I don't know where you slide him at. He doesn't have the outside touch to play small forward. He's not big enough to play at the power forward. He's really a tweener, but more importantly, he's just athletic and really doesn't do anything great other than just athleticism. So I'm not sure if he's a starter in this league. And the one bright spot to me is Fournier. I like Fournier. I think this guy can really ball. I think he could be a great two guard in this league. But I think it's determined by who's he surrounded with. And right now, there's no reason why you have to leave him open, because you're not double teaming Biyombo, you're not double teaming Ibaka, you're not even double teaming DJ Augustine. So this guy is going to have maybe 20 points a game, but he's going to have the toughest 20 points a game in the NBA, because he is always going to have his man on him at all times, because there's no reason for the defense to leave him to help someone else. They just don't have that other guy in the starting lineup. And I'm not sure about this blend of talent over there. They're going to have to do some reconstruction over there this offseason. It's just a bad blend of talent over there, and I think Frank Vogel is getting the most of it. But with that said, they came into the Garden. They were playing well of late. The Knicks just controlled the game from the start. Once they took a lead, they really controlled the game. The Knicks should have won by more, but they just controlled the game, and Magic didn't let it get too far ahead from them, but it never really got close enough where they could make a run and steal one at the Garden. So good game for the Knicks. The bench came up big. First of all, the Knicks were led by Derrick Rose with 19 points. He had a little hop in his step. Porzingis, he was in double figures. He had got hurt. Looked like it might have been serious since he limped off and went to the locker room. But he came back towards the end of the game riding a bicycle, taking pictures with the fans, messing with them down in the tunnel area. Looks like he's going to be okay with 3 days off with 2 days off until Christmas when they take on Boston Celtics. He looks like he's going to be okay. Carmelo didn't really have it going, but he did wind up with 15 points. It was a rough night, shoot night for him, but he had 15 points. And Courtney Lee, he had 10. But the story of the game was the bench. Kyle O'Quinn, 16 rebounds, 14 points, and 5 block shots. Tremendous effort, controlling the pause, blocking the shots, altering the shot. Kyle O'Quinn is like an athletic Charles Oakley. He just comes to play off the bench. He gives you 100%. What a performance by Kyle O'Quinn last night. And then Hernan Gomez. This is a guy that I have to give some love to, because his first couple of games this season, he looked like a deer in headlights. He just looked absolutely lost. He looked like he didn't belong there. Man, what? It was just an awful display, to be honest with you. But you could see he had the talent. Well, he came off the bench last night, grabbed 5 rebounds, and put up 15 points. He had a three-pointer, he had some mid-range jump shot, couple of nifty moves around the basket. Just a smart player, played well. Some people refer to him as a baby Gasol. I don't see that quite yet, but you know what? He has the talent. He has a talent, and that's something about those guys that come from overseas that do make it in the NBA. I would say for the most part, the majority of them, they're very fundamentally sound. They're very skilled, especially the big men. You don't see them trying to do too much or going out their way. They play within their game. When he pulled up the three-pointer, I was shocked. But he shot it like, that's his range. And it went in like, that's his range. But good performance by him. I think that the future's bright for him, whether he remains as a person off the bench or someday he becomes the Knicks starter. I think that we're going to see this guy continue to improve. And I tell you what, if we continue to get production from those two guys like that, and Kuz and Holiday, they hustled that as well. Their numbers didn't show up their effort didn't show up in the box score, but their efforts on their efforts on the floor was definitely noticeable. And then there's Brandon Jennings. What can I say about this guy? Listen, I don't know what the future is for Derrick Rose in the New York Knicks. I don't. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we should sign him or we shouldn't. I know one thing. We need a ball player like him. And I'm concerned about him going further with health. So I won't rush signing him. But who I would re-sign is Brandon Jennings. No doubt about it. This guy here, I think that he would remain happy in New York, playing off the bench as long as he can get 20 minutes a game. He is perfect for New York. He comes out there, he's a floor general. He's not looking to shoot us like he was in the preseason or early on. He's kind of decided, the Dennis Rodman approach. Like Dennis Rodman says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to rebound and do it great. I'm just going to rebound. You guys do everything else. I'm going to rebound. Well, Brandon Jennings is just saying, I'm not going to be a floor general. I'm just going to pass the ball and you guys be ready. And what makes it so astonishing about what he's doing, last night, comes off the bench, 4 points, 15 assists. No, 12 assists, I'm sorry. 12 assists, 4 points off the bench. Listen, he's doing it with the bench play. Listen, you're on the bench for a reason, but you're not capable of starting. Doesn't mean you can't play in this league, but you're not capable of starting. So for him to come off the bench, run with the second unit, and it's not garbage time, and he has 12 assists, and this is not the first time he's had double digits in assists this season. He leads the team in assists. Man, that's phenomenal. It really is. It's phenomenal what he is doing. What he is doing is phenomenal. And I got to give him credit. He controls the game, and he does it his way, but it's effective. And as a result of it, the Knicks are winning some games. As we speak right now, the Knicks are tied for fourth, 16-13. They're tied with Charlotte. They trail Boston by a half game. And maybe that could change come Christmas Day. So, good win for the Knicks last night. Good night for me last night. The Knicks win. The Eagles win. Play spoilers to the Giants. And I look for them to beat Dallas in the last game of the season. So, good night for me. Ramel had a good night. But listen, that's going to do it for the show today. I want to give a special thanks to guys like Greg, Jay, Jamel. And last night, while watching the game, the Facebook thread was just off the hook with various comments. It was like watching the game with friends, but they just wasn't there with you. And that was a good thing. It made it interesting, making predictions and just talking a little smack throughout, and it was just fun. And I want to thank you guys for that. I want to thank everyone who tuned in yesterday when I went live. I just want to thank you all. Thank you for your comments, and I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. I'm not sure what time I'm going to set this up. I may do something in the midday. I might wait till after the games kick off because there's going to be a lot to talk about. So look out for Chopping It Up with Ramel. It'll definitely take place, but we'll see what happens. Might be a special edition tomorrow night. All right? Well, this is Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. I see you guys in 24. You guys have a great day and a great start to your weekend. Peace and blessings. I'm out.